So this is the next progression through. So I believe that we've almost uncovered the foundations of what we need to progress. So what do I mean by that? Is that we've now understand why authenticity is really important. You need to be honest with yourself, and with the 38 questions, you can understand your strengths and weaknesses. This will allow you to then progress further, push your strengths, not be so concerned on your weaknesses, although you do need to build them. So you've got, and sort of, you understand who you are as a manager currently. So it's your fundamentals. Then we looked at triggers. How do we deal with emotion in certain environments? We can understand that certain triggers causes us an emotion. So it's understanding how that shows on you. And it could be that you feel rage, you could become withdrawn, and it's understanding what them emotions can be, because they can be sometimes disproportionate to the environment and situation that you're in. So we looked at triggers almost being a gift of the areas that we need to work on. I class that as the foundations. So we now understand what it means for us, who we are. We understand what we need. This is us. This is just the core of it. Now, when I start thinking about what we think a good leader can be and is, this section, I'm a little bit hesitant about me. I don't want you to listen to what I think a good leader is, although we'll run through it, obviously. I'll put a worksheet together at the footnotes, and what I would like you to do is just over the next week or two, just have a listen out. If someone gives you something, a little gift of good leadership, make a note of it. Or if they give you a bad leadership trait, make a note of that too, because actually the bad ones is where you want to be completely opposite to. So for instance, someone becomes overly emotional and just starts being irate about something. You want to be completely opposite to that. That was a badly handled that situation. So what if you was in that manager in that situation, what you would have done is actually taken a breath and actually just be more composed. So it's seeing what good leaders are and what bad leaders are over the next couple of weeks will really help you start to design the roadmap of where you want to be on this journey. What's the end result? What kind of leader do you really want? Because we're now at that point that we can start sort of really getting into that kind of the roadmap. I think is the best description. So we're going to sort of give ourselves direction of where we want to be at the end of this journey. And the journey doesn't end. Hence the Always Learning podcast. Hence that I'm still here, still learning, and every day that we have a conversation, I'm actually it's underlining my fundamentals and my foundation. So I'm getting better, and I'm really looking forward to my business kicking off really soon, and then I can really be implementing these things that I've done. I'm going to be implementing the 38 questions with my managers around me, so I can understand their strengths and weaknesses, and we can progress together. So what I think a great leader is, I think they need to have composure. And I say this because I was really bad at it, and I'm still learning about it, is that I used to be really responsive when someone asked me a question. So if someone asked me something, I would then blurt out a response, because I felt that if I wasn't giving a quick answer and reacting to it and giving what they want, I felt like they might judge me for not really knowing what I know. Great managers, in my eyes, the first words they say is a breath. And then they talk. if you ever sit a meeting and actually the person that holds that meeting the best is sometimes that person that says little. But when they say it, it has meaning. That's where I want to be. I want to be sitting around a meeting room and not getting in for the tit for tat, not having an ego, trying to cock wave. I want to be there and I'm just going to listen, hold my breath, and then talk. And incredibly, everybody in that meeting will actually listen to you more because you've said less. So that's really important for me for how to become what a great manager is. I respect people that treat everybody the same. And that could be anybody within the organization. It could be the person doing a delivery. It could be potentially someone at the door. It could be a member of the public. It could be a client. It could be anything. Just the consistency. And I just think, treat, as in life, treat everybody the same. Just if you treat everybody with respect, you'll get respect back. And it doesn't matter the environment, the situation, and looking at it from someone looking at them, and I see that person is actually treating that person. Actually, that person's not very nice, but you're still treating them with respect and the same. Well done. I take my hat off to you. That is a sign of a strong leader. Listening. Now, this is an art. And Shane, the co-founder of the business I work for, he's brilliant at that. And so's Kevin, the director as well. They are excellent at taking in information, thinking about it, and then responding. But what they'll do first is that they will just listen. They'll just take all the information. As in, what they'll do is they won't try and give me, okay, I'm messing my words up a bit. What they'll do is that I'll go in and I'll say, right, okay, I've got a big problem here. I'm really stressed out about it. I don't quite know what to do. How do I find a resolution for this? And they'll just listen and they go, right, okay, what's the actual problem? What's the consequence for you not doing it? And they'll break the problem down to just almost simple categories and get me to give the answer. And at the end of it, they'll go, well, what do you think we should do? And all that's done is just giving me time to think. It's given me a breath to understand the situation. It's almost forced me to take a step back, look at it holistically, and just go, right, okay, what is the actual problem? And they've also empowered me to know the answer. That's brilliant. Because what normally happens is you could potentially go into a business and you go, right, I've got a problem. Well, okay, this is how you do it. And they micromanage you and you don't, you just go, okay, all right, okay, yeah, great idea. What you want to do is you want to be encouraging the people below you to actually come up with the resolution and the answer. I knew what the answer was. I just didn't know how to find it. And I just needed, because I was too in the woods, I need to take a step back and see the wood through the trees. So listening is really, really important. And I look up to that as a leader. It's a massive strength. Seeing things from different angles is a superpower as well. And again, Kevin and Shane, brilliant at that, because I'll be going from one direction and they'll be looking at it from another way, another way, and another way. And eventually we've got it covered from all angles. I don't need someone to be sitting in my lane of the motorway and following me and going, right, okay, well, all right, we'll look at it from how I see it. I don't need that. I can see where I see it, but I need someone else to look at it from a different angle. And then you can come up with the resolutions to the problem a lot easier. So that's really great art of actually looking at it from every angle. And that moves nicely onto the emotional side of it too. I respect leaders that are not emotional with their decision making, and that looks at the angles as well, but the angles are not emotional. In the middle of the problem, I will become emotional. It's affecting me. It's my element of the business. I feel that people are going to be criticizing me. I've put a lot of time and effort in it. I'm failing people. I really want it to work. I'm pushing the elephant up the hill. I'm really, really involved with it. I'm really emotional about it. So again, because of that emotion, I'm not really seeing the reality. So a leader would give me help, but their help wouldn't be emotional. They'll be looking at it in a very cold light of day environment, a situation. I don't need emotional response. I need factual problem solving. That's probably the best way to describe it. They're balanced. A great leader is balanced. And what I mean from that, there's several angles of this, but what first off I mean is that they are steady. You don't want to walk into an office and not know where your boss is going to be sitting at the moment emotionally. Are they going to be angry? Are they just, they haven't had their coffee in the morning and they're just feeling nasty and they've had a bad experience and they just, and then the next day, they're the happiest people in the world and everything's great, and you don't quite know what you're going to be walking into. That's no good for me. I've got a lot on my plate. I need to be walking into a steady, balanced office that I can walk into and I know I know that I'm worried about my job. I'm not worried about what the boss's emotions are doing that day. Don't need that. And then that sort of leans itself with them as well, with discipline. So my personal opinion is I look up to leaders that are disciplined, and that could be regarding their health, it could be regarding the structure of their working day, it could be that they're disciplined with their family life, and they're just steady. They're steady people with discipline, and I just look up to that because again they're not erratic. There's a balance, there's steadiness. It's like that ship is just sailing. That's my top. That is my top things I look for a leader. I don't want them to be yours. I want you to find your own. And again, I'll put this sheet down there and just do it. Just mark up on a piece of paper or on this sheet, whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter. You can see something on TV. It could be something around you. It could be something in social life. It could be someone that. It could be something to do with football, for instance. The manager of the football team you support just made a really good statement and just handled the situation really well. And you're like, I like that. That was really good. Make a note of it because that's the leader that you see you want to end up being. Also, start noting the good things that you do. If you make a good leadership decision or a bad one, make a note of it because you need to start understanding that you're progressing. So this is going to be your gauge of you progressing as a manager is the leadership decisions that you make that you think, that was good, I like that. And then you're going to get the bad ones, but we reflect, and this is very important. This is how I've progressed as a manager. I reflect. I journal, so I write things down, how I dealt with situations. Was I happy with that situation? Was I not happy with that situation? The more positive leadership skills you show, and you acknowledge, and it's really important to acknowledge, then they start sinking in. They start becoming you, and then it starts becoming a natural, organic habit. So you don't have to think about the pause before responding. It becomes a habit. Might be quite annoying to some people because they'd be like, well, what does he want to say? What does he want to do? But that actually means you've got control of that situation. That's a good one. But this is all about our progression. So I think this has been a good episode. We've looked at, I've just made some notes, I'm just going to check. So we looked about that first breath. We looked about how I feel that leaders treat other people, which is a full respect. Listening is an absolute art, looking at it from all kind of angles. And that is, again, a very strong strength of a leader. Takes the emotion out of the day. So, sorry, it takes an emotion out of a conversation, a decision. And then it's been emotionally balanced. And you also know that you're not going to walk into a situation and go, oh my God, who's going to be there today? Is it the jackal or the hired? You know, it's understanding that. And then for me personally, it's the manager that has the discipline, the leader that has discipline, because I respect that. So that's us. Always learning. Better managers equals better lives. This is my take on how we can all improve as managers. And please get involved. Please message me. Please follow, like and share. The message we can get out to people and show that I'm a supporting arm for you guys. You know, I want to be there because the support was never there when I was progressing in management. I've got it now, and I now want to give it to you.